Hello you little tinkers, how are you doing? And tinkettes. Today I'm talking about the Great Awakening, I'm talking about the split, I'm talking about healing, bit of everything. I'll tell you all about it on the other side. So you know in the last video, the second last video, the emissaries were talking about how things would be after the split happens. When we get into it, and it just occurred to me, I never asked them about healing. And let me tell you what happened. So, of late, I've been doing courses. I've been running courses on the Spanish part of my business. Because of that, I've had to get caught up. And twice it's happened in the space of a month where I've had to do 2 weeks worth of work in 1 week. What does that mean for me? That means that I've got a hold of my mouse like double time, doing a lot of computer work and editing videos and everything. And what happened was I got what I would call static load problems in my shoulder and like pains coming down my arm. They're getting better, but man, I must have severely overdone it. And what happens is with me, I've had it before, I get this static load and it affects a nerve that goes all the way down my arm. And it's so bloody painful. It's not like pain as in, it's slow, throbbing, wakes you up at night. So anyway, I'm lying in bed just before we go to bed, and on a night time, our boys come in. We're all in the same bed together just before we go to sleep because we do like this little ritual, a little prayer thing and some affirmations and stuff. It's really nice. We all do it together. And my son, my youngest son, Damien, I've always thought that he had like special hands. I always thought that his hands, when he would touch me, sometimes when he was a baby, he would touch my face, and I would get this feeling of like, ooh, I'm liking that. That feels really powerful, really like hot hands and everything. So I'm lying there with like feeling sorry for myself with my arm, thinking, will I get to sleep tonight or not? And I said to him, just touch my arm and see if you can heal it. Just heal my arm, okay? I never asked him to do anything like that before. So he put his hands on my arm and he was sliding them up and down like this. And he's just doing that, sliding them up and down. And then he put his head on my arm and he said, and I hope this gets better for tomorrow. And then he went to bed. And then, within about 10 seconds, all the pain went from my arm. I was like, whoa, what? Now, I know you might be thinking that just could be like a hypnotic suggestion that I think that he's healed me. It could be a placebo effect. I don't give a shit. He put his hands on me, put his head on, said, I hope it gets better tomorrow, and the pain went. Okay? So it got me to thinking about, after the split, you know, we're all, especially people who watch this channel, we're all healers in certain ways, aren't we? And so I said to the emissaries, will we be healers? You know, will we be healers in this in after the split? And they said, yes, at the beginning. At the beginning, there will be a need because people will be bringing all kinds of residue with them. They said there'll be a need for healing, and there'll be a lot of people who work on that, who their gifts will be accentuated and they'll start healing. But they said after a while, it won't be necessary. Because of the energetic shift that we'll go through, we will naturally heal anyway. So healing at the beginning, but later on not, because it's just not necessary. I suppose we'll be living in a constant med bed. It'll be like we'll be walking around, everything will be a med bed. So I was thinking about the emissaries talking about this, you know, and I'll ask them something, they'll go, yes, that's what's going to happen, no, whatever. And I said to them, so can you see the timeline? And they said, yes, we can. They said, so if you can see it, why can't you put time on it? Why I'm calling it a timeline, you know, and if you can see it, why can't you give us a time or whatever? And they said, because it's not a timeline like that. And what I'm aware of is that whenever they tell me something, especially when it gets into the details, I'm aware that this is extremely clumsy. The way that they've got to communicate it with me is to use the words that I've got. And I don't think that they can match or meet the standard of what needs to be said. So I think when I'm talking about what they've said, it's what they've communicated and the words I put to it. So I think it's a very clumsy way, that's why sometimes it sounds like, yeah, it doesn't really make sense. And I think it would if we could actually understand what it was that they wanted to communicate. Anyway, they said, rather than a timeline, what we are privy to is the proposal. They said, we see a proposal, the plan. But instead of using plan, they said proposal. It's like, what is proposed to happen? And they said, that is what we see. And that's why there isn't a time to it. And I said, why? Is that proposal mutable? And I said, yeah, absolutely. It's mutable. It can expand, it can shrink, it can change, it can move direction. And they described it as an energetic proposal. Right, that's their words. I don't know what that means. Energetic proposal. And I said to them, so could the split not happen? Could it not happen? And they said, yes, but it's highly unlikely because we are seeing the energetic pattern running out, and it's highly unlikely that the split won't happen. They said, right now, we have nearly got the majority of people made, and I'm going to talk about this in the next video. We've got the majority of people. They said, we're just waiting for the stragglers, okay? Just waiting for the stragglers to make a decision. And it's funny because I used to work from a network marketing company that sucked the very life out of me and sucked £40,000 out of me as well. And what they would do was you had to deliver catalogues. You had to deliver catalogues, people would buy, and then you'd have to pick them back up. Of course, you would ask them to put them outside the door. Nobody did. And so when you went to pick them up, there was always about 20% of them that you didn't get. They were called the stragglers. And they give them that name. That name was a hypnotic suggestion, meaning virtually none. And yet, sometimes it used to be about half of your catalogues, but it just made you feel better when you said, I've just got to go for the stragglers. 75 hours later, you didn't have them even then. But the emissary said, the stragglers. The stragglers were just waiting for the stragglers to make their decision. And I said, okay then, what if they don't choose? What if they just keep refusing to choose? And they said, that will never happen. The people that put off choosing, they said that their lives will be brought into crisis so that they have no choice than to choose their side. And so this shit is going to happen whether people like it or not. And so I'm sure, put your hand up if you know somebody who is struggling, if you know a straggler. How do you meet the stragglers? The stragglers are the people who go, oh yes, I can see it all now. And then 2 days later say, well, I'm just off to have my, they're the stragglers. The people that you think, oh, make a decision, for God's sake. Just for my mental health, make a decision. Decide, put yourself in one camp or the fucking other. But they don't. They're the stragglers. And so the stragglers are going to be brought into crisis. Well, thank God for that. And I'm not saying that in a horrible way. Poor stragglers, if you're in crisis, then I feel for you, because we've all been in crisis. We've all had to go through that crisis. But it's about fucking time, if you don't mind me saying. So there you are. That's what's coming. We're on a proposal. We're on an energetic proposal, which can change, but it's very unlikely that it's going to change. And the stragglers, well, they'll just have to do their best to get through it. Just hope that when they straggle, when they decide, they come over to our side, because it's much better, because we are beautiful people. Are we not? And over that side, less so, as far as I can see. And so I'll finish with a little bit of advice. First of all, to tell you that I love you all. And the second bit of advice is just remember, when making decisions about going forward, just remember this phrase. I'd rather have a full bottle in front of me than a full frontal lobotomy. Goes without saying. I love you all. I'll speak to you all later. Bye-bye.